Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to the Spread Fantasy Insider. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with Jay Dash and Big Easy. We got the top 5 value picks in rounds 11 to 14 in your fantasy draft, particular PPR, because
12-team leagues.
we don't mess around with
If you got 10-team leagues, change it up. Obviously, it'll be different.
And we don't play in a keeper league either, so that doesn't help.
Believe it. And a guy we talked about in an earlier segment, Ladarius Green, he was going, something around the 9th round with all this talk about ankle injury, head injuries, concussions from the past, headaches, you know what I mean? He has actually dropped a little bit. He's going at the bottom around 10, and I still like that pick. That's where you want to take these chances, and I actually started to put a segment together of all the things you should do during a season of fantasy. And one of the things you should do...
Drafting Ladarius Green is one of them?
No, not necessarily that, but take advantage of injuries and suspensions and things like that. And I think Ladarius Green's a great candidate for that. I think he can be a top 10 tight end. Maybe he misses a few games. You're going to have to draft a tight end after him, maybe. But I still expect Ladarius Green to step up at some point this season, and hopefully early on.
Well, according to Green, there's nothing wrong with him. He says, and now this is a direct quote, so don't tell me I have bad English, even though I know it's not that great. He says, "I am wondering who said this. I don't think I spoke about retiring no time soon. I am only 26, so I don't think I am retiring no time soon." So apparently,
well, it doesn't sound like great English, but
yeah.
I mean, I agree with him. I wasn't really as worried as everybody was. I mean, it's media, man. They make it out to be more than it really is.
He said his ankle's still weak, and that's what has him on the physically unable to perform list.
I mean, that's what Tomlin was saying too, but I heard his agent actually said it wasn't his ankle. So who knows?
They're all stupid.
But another Pittsburgh Steeler is wide receiver Sammy Coates, and he was actually going a lot later according to average draft position, but he's moved up a lot actually recently, and he's going at 130.8, and he's going to have to step up this season. And they got Brown, Wheaton. I know they're saying Wheaton's the one that's got to step up and do it big.
That's your boy.
But I think in this round, what is 125? 125 is round 11. I think that's a good place to take Sammy Coates because he could step up and do something similar to Bryant, not necessarily everything Bryant did because Bryant had the run game as well, the reverses, everything like that. And Bryant is a beast. I'm not saying Sammy Coates is going to do exactly what he did, but I think Sammy Coates has some high upside.
Did you hear Darius Hayward-Bay ran faster than Coates? And that's not a knock on Coates. That's just a testament to Hayward-Bay's,
yeah, that dude was always fast.
Conditioning. 21 miles an hour for Hayward-Bay and 20 for Coates.
That's ridiculous, though.
Fast.
I mean, Sammy Coates is pretty fast, too, though.
Believe it. And now I expect Sammy to have a season similar to, I believe it was Mike Wallace's rookie year. He caught, 50 passes for like 750 yards and maybe six or seven touchdowns, something like that. Coates might end up a little bit more touchdowns, but I would expect it to be low catches for big chunks of yards. So, you know what I mean? He's a fast guy. He averaged about 20 yards a catch in college, but he also dropped 20% of the passes thrown his way. So let's just hope he shored that up a little bit in the offseason.
All right, let's get into these 5 guys. He doesn't even count as one of those guys, but he is around this range. And I
don't
do
even
like
count,
him.
Sammy.
Oh, he counts. He's going to count big.
Who else is going to do it big?
I'm going to go with wide receiver Travis Benjamin. He is going...
Charger now?
Yeah, he is a San Diego Charger. He's going to be the number 2 receiver out there. They got Keenan Allen on one side. Travis Benjamin will be on the other side. They obviously also have Antonio Gates out there.
Ageless wonder.
I think things, if they can stay healthy, unlike last year, I think this offense can do it big. They also got Danny Woodhead in the passing game as well, but I don't think their run game's going to be outstanding or anything. We seen last year it wasn't that great. I think they can be a little bit better, but I think they're going to have to pass a lot again. And I think Phillip Rivers passes the ball around a ton, so I think Travis Benjamin can get it done in San Diego.
Who will have more fantasy points at the end of the year, Benjamin or Woodhead?
I'd like to say Woodhead. Woodhead's my man, but I mean, who knows? Really, I can't say at this point. In PPR, I would still like to have Woodhead. I think that's the way to go, just because it's so hard to find good running backs. And if he's getting 4 or 5 catches a game, that's very valuable in fantasy these days.
Who's up next?
Did I give an average draft position for him?
No, you did
Benjamin?
not, and I need this information because I have 130.8 in my head, and that was Sammy. Now I need Travis.
Well, Travis Benjamin is going ahead of him at average draft position 118.
Point
0.0, man. 0.0.
Okay.
And that's 10th round. So, I mean, that's a 10th round receiver right there.
Well, what did he do last year? Anything?
Travis Benjamin, he
played
did a
for
big
Cleveland
yeah,
last
he
year,
played
so-
for Cleveland.
Well,
you remember that?
I don't pay attention to Cleveland. So.
I mean, he was probably
Their best receiver.
Yes, their best receiver, maybe even their best offensive player. They have Duke Johnson out there. He's going way
He had
ahead.
a couple big games last year, I believe Benjamin did. He didn't
I
have
mean,
like
he
a
started
overall
out the
great
season real big.
Yeah.
You picked him up. I know
Right.
you had him on your fantasy team. He was definitely fantasy worthy for sure. And I think he can do it even bigger, obviously, in this offense. San Diego, I even said it before last season, San Diego's pass offense does it big as long as they stay healthy. And I think Benjamin's going to be a part of that. How about another wide receiver? At average draft position 129 is Vincent Jackson
For the Bucks.
for the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes,
Dude's
they,
like 85 years old. now,
Oh,
isn't he?
gee.
they obviously have Mike Evans out there. He's the number one. Seferian-Jenkins is,
Throwing a fit, I hear, a hissy fit. He's getting in the doghouse with the coaches.
yeah, I actually have him as a value pick as well. He's going around
You sure would.
ASJ, man, believe it.
PPR.
He's going at average draft position 155, so that's still very late in the draft. That's round 13, and I mean that's still a pretty good value for what I mean. We seen ASJ last year. He had that huge first game, and then he went down with an injury, and he's supposedly back healthy. But they do have another tight end out there that they are thinking of starting over him. I think his name's Cameron Brate. He really doesn't have any fantasy upside, though. I still think ASJ is the one.
It's just his attitude that's really keeping him.
Well, another thing is Brate has great hands, and Jenkins actually drops a lot of passes as well, but he's the big play guy, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you got Winston, a quarterback, going into his second year. You have a pretty decent running back in Doug Martin. At least that's what he showed last year. There was a couple years there
What's
where
his new nickname? Does anybody remember?
I have no clue.
Man, I forget. We'll just keep
Yeah, I
calling
can't
him
remember
Muscle
either.
Hamster.
But like I said, they have Mike Evans as the starting receiver out there. They also got some other guys they like. There's Dante Dye, Kenny Bell, and Russell Shepard. And they're thinking of getting at least one or two of these guys involved in their offense. But I actually heard Vincent Jackson may move to the slot, and I think that could be a good thing in terms of fantasy for Vincent Jackson owners with Jameis Winston. I think that those two can do it big. And I think more than just Mike Evans can get fantasy points on this Tampa Bay offense.
Vincent Jackson's a big guy. If he goes into the slot, he's going to be facing teams nickelback most of the time, and that's usually the smaller of the three defensive backs, or cornerbacks at least, that start. So he could really use that to his advantage. And if he's just losing his speed a little bit, so you move him into the slot, he's closer to Winston. Winston can get him the ball sooner and see if he can make plays after the catch. So the big catches might not be there, but he might get more catches, which in turn keeps him up around the same amount of yardage.
Next on my list, another receiver, and he's going at average draft position 139.8, and that is Mohamed Sanu.
Isn't it curious, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, that it's all, and not all, but receivers nowadays, running backs are obsolete in fantasy almost.
Yeah,
There's
well,
like
I mean,
4 good ones, and then the rest are interchangeable.
I'm going to go over a running back here in a minute, but yeah, if you don't have most of your running backs at this point, you're not necessarily going to struggle, because a lot of those early round running backs are going to flop probably
Anyway, yeah.
as well, and people will be scrambling. But I
Jamal.
mean, if you don't have at least 2 or 3 good running backs by now, you are going to be hurting most likely.
Brutal.
But again, Mohamed Sanu out in Atlanta now. They have Julio Jones on one side. Mohamed Sanu's going to start on the other side. And we mentioned Matt Ryan before, and he's actually being drafted at average draft position 156.3 right now. And I think that's a good value for a quarterback, especially if you drafted your first quarterback in round 9 or 10 or something like that. One of those guys we mentioned. Draft Matt Ryan as a backup, and you might actually get a starter out of that, and you can maybe trade one. Maybe Matt Ryan's the quarterback that can take you to your championship. But Mohamed Sanu, we mentioned it before. Roddy White did nothing last season. Sanu has some talent. His hands aren't that great though, but I think Matt Ryan can get it done with both Jones and Sanu.
Sanu can get downfield. That stretches everything out and opens everything up. Makes the offense better.
All right, man, I got one more receiver, and then we'll talk about that running back. And the receiver is Indianapolis Colt Philip Dorsett. He's going at average draft position 146.3. Now, he is listed as their third wide receiver. They got T.Y. Hilton out there and Dante Moncrief, and a lot of people are saying both of these guys are going to have huge seasons. I never really trusted Moncrief for some reason.
Because his name's stupid?
No, not necessarily. But I, from what I'm hearing, Philip Dorsett has had a great offseason, and he looks very good, and he's going to step up this season. And, I mean, we liked him even before talking about him right now. We liked him last season as well. He didn't do as much as people hoped because, I mean, really, Indianapolis' offense didn't do as much as people hoped. Andrew Luck was injured for a lot of the season, tried to play through it.
Garbage.
But Andre Johnson's gone and Kobe Fleener is gone. So,
oh no.
Yeah. So really, I think it's Hilton, Moncrief, and Dorsett are the three guys that are going to get most of the targets. And Dorsett's a talented guy, and I think he can actually.
Where did he come from? Miami.
The
U.
Okay, I remember this dude.
He's a pick 146.3, so that would be round 13. That's huge value right there. That guy can possibly step into a starting role, even a flex option for you as the season goes on. You need Andrew Luck to step up this season, though, and have a big season like people expected him to do last year and kind of like he did the season before.
Yeah, stop being a girl and play with a lacerated kidney. Come on, Luck.
Right. Man up.
And the running back is Denver running back, Devontae Booker. He is going at average draft position 151.3. He's looked very good through camp, good in the preseason so far. We thought C.J. Anderson was a beast going in the last season. He was a top 10 pick.
I was not included in that conversation. I thought C.J. Anderson was garbage.
No, you didn't.
Oh, crap, dude, he's garbage.
No, actually,
he was garbage.
Well, he turned it around at the end.
Yeah, he was actually a beast towards the end of last season, but there is the fact that he struggled at the beginning of the season. But do you remember 2 years ago, man? C.J. Anderson was a monster.
Hey, Tommy Maddox had one good year. That didn't make him monster.
Well, Tommy Maddox and C.J. Anderson are two different cases, man. C.J. Anderson, I mean, he's still going pretty high in the draft. And, I mean, I don't hate the pick, but there is the fact that he did struggle at the beginning of last season. And if that happens again, Devontae Booker already took over Ronnie Hillman for the second running back job. And if Booker got that chance, he could run away with the job. So, I mean, you look at some of the running backs that are being drafted around this time. You got DeAndre Washington out of Oakland. That's Latavius Murray's backup. Javorius Allen in Baltimore.
Garbage.
So, I mean, that's a nice running back to take when it's late in the draft and you're really looking for another running back to add to your roster. I think this could be a sleeper and possibly take over Denver's job. And, you know, with injuries and everything as well, there's a good chance. But, I mean, when you think about it, you really don't want to take guys that it's going to take 4 or 5 weeks for them to get in. But he's one of the guys that maybe you do take the chance on because there really isn't those other type of guys here like the guys I mentioned. James Starks, I wouldn't take him.
Don't take Carlos Williams. He got cut because he got fat.
Carlos Williams, yeah you've seen him there.
Axed.
He's garbage. Charkandrick West is around this pick.
The only thing that scares me about that, Charles could stay healthy, but if he doesn't, Spencer Ware might take some of the carries.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even last season, they started splitting time with him and West because really West, after those first couple games, kind of slowed down. But yeah, that's it.
What about Dorial Green Beckham, real quick? Does his value go up or down?
I actually had him as a value pick around these rounds, and I wiped him off the list, actually, because I think it takes his value down. I was kind of high on Marcus Mariota and all those weapons he had out there, but I do have Rashard Matthews as a sleeper now. I kind of like that. They have a guy named Tajay Sharp out there as well. He's going way late in the draft, Let's see, he is going at average draft position 234, so you could take that guy in one of the last rounds, and he could step into a starting role. It looks like he will.
Please believe.
So DGB's garbage now, blockhead dude.
Well, I mean,
trending down.
yeah, I'm
Sam
not feeling
Bradford's
it.
garbage show ruins DGB.
Well,
Sorry,
they got
buddy.
Ruben Randall out there as well. I'm just not feeling it. It's a
Garbage.
bad time for it.
Philly's garbage. Anything else?
Nope.
Fans, questions, comments, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube. Keep clicking subscribe. I think we're over 500. We forgot to celebrate.
Believe it.